right. And I welcome to my live show Michael Walker Music. Thank you for joining me today. How have you been
Thank.
doing?
I've been doing like just locked in.
Doing the best we can do throughout this coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
It's been something. It's definitely not anything I've ever seen in my lifetime that we've had to deal with. So it's kind of, I think it's thrown everybody for a loop a little bit. What have you been doing to keep busy during this time since we're kind of locked in?
Well, mostly I do the same thing I do all week. I keep the house up, but I've started doing some more projects that I was been putting off, but hadn't really been doing a lot of music. I just been kind of hoping it was going to be over a lot quicker than it was. And be honest with you, if they'd let me run out there, I'm not scared to get out there myself. But here in California, you get out there and they catch you doing something they don't want you doing. They write tickets around here for $1,000 a pop. So not really interested in that right now, getting $1,000 ticket. So just going to kind of hang out here and get some projects done I've been putting off. What my whole life has been, we play 3-4 nights a week, mostly on the weekends. And so it really cut into that. And so we're just going to get some projects done around here.
Well, that sounds good. Project sounds good. Now, do you write your own music?
I do. I write it all. There's my bass player started bringing in a few songs, but up to this point, I've written all my own stuff.
Cool. So have you been doing songwriting while you've been out too?
I don't do songwriting like you see people talk about getting in these sessions and doing songwriting. They just kind of happen. I keep a guitar, a beater
Uh-huh.
guitar by my lazy boy, and I pick it up and I'll start strumming along or whatever, and I'll hum a melody and sing a few words, and that's how a song gets started. And it may be maybe months in between, and I maybe do two in a week. It just happens, and then once it gets going, I dive into it. But I don't just sit down and write songs. They just kind of got to happen. And really, half the songs I write happen when I'm not even at home or with a instrument in my hands. It's just kind of get an idea in your head, and it takes off. So haven't been writing any songs, but I've got a few that need to be finished. So maybe that kind of counts.
That counts. That counts. So that's neat though. So you write just completely by inspiration.
Yeah, whatever happens, whatever hits me. Melodies are real easy for me. Coming up with riffs is a little tougher, but I'll just be strumming, watching TV, and then something will strike me, and I'll go. And normally the first words that fly out of my mouth at the song is rolling in that direction. It's almost like I can't make it be anything else once those first words fly out.
That is interesting. That is. Oh, I wish I had that talent.
It's
That's
just
so.
lucky.
Uh, you're blessed for sure with talent for songwriting and for music. When I came across your music, I was like, whoa, because I mean, you just took me back. You know, your
Yeah, I'm
tone.
I'm very much influenced by rock music, as you might notice. I'm old school. I was down in Hollywood back in the day when people had big hair and leather pants. I played all the places, the Troubadour, the Whiskey, every place up on the strip back in the day. And so I'm really we I tell people this is my version of California country, and I tell them,
Yeah.
they say, "What's that?" And I'm just like, "Well, it's just rock and roll with some twang and some thang in it." And that's kind of my thing. So I'm just, my guys in my band are rockers, but we got, coming from California. I don't know if you can hear it. I can't tell. People say I got an accent. It doesn't sound like I'm from California, but
Yeah.
maybe got a little twang in it. But that comes from where I grew up at. I actually grew up in a little bitty town where, as far as you could see outside town, was all cotton right here in California. So I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
grow up in a big city and stuff. And everybody that lived there, they either came up from Mexico to work, or they came out from Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma back in the day. So you got a little bit of that. They brought their accent with them, and it kind of stuck with the kids who grew up there, which is me.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, you're absolutely right though. When I first saw you and I heard your music, I was, you took me back to like a mixture of ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner, and more so Leonard Skinner, that Southern rock vibe.
Hmm.
But like you say, still with country in it. And I was like, this is my kind of music. I
Yes.
love this. So yeah, you hooked me from the start. I'm a forever fan.
We
It's
get a lot of people who will play it for, and of course the country people like it, but then we get people who don't like country. Who I don't, and they'll say it. I don't like country, but I like that, and it's really a
yeah.
combination of both. And that's I've actually got a song called "Going to Nashville," which is about not going to Nashville, and one of the lines is there is uh, about being down in L.A. playing, and one of the lines is I guess I'm just a little too country, what they, boy, you're just a little too country.
Uh,
And even though I was trying to be a rock star back then,
yeah.
trying to save up for a Ferrari back then, I don't care about that stuff anymore. But when you're young, it's all about girls, partying, and fast cars.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Your priorities change a little bit as you get older.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you just kind of answered that. My next question then, if you had any thoughts of going to Nashville, or if you were California planted forever, because, most artists gravitate towards Nashville, but because you don't have that pure country, you're fine in California.
Yeah, and I did go to Nashville and record that my album Californic. That's where I recorded it. The guy who co-produced it with me, his name's Ben Watts. He out of Lore Entertainment. And he's a friend of mine, and he used to do live sound for Lee Brice on the road. That's was his job,
Mm-hmm.
and he also produces. And so when we went back there, before I had my band, he put together the players, and we ended up having Donnie Marple and Paul Rippey, who were in Lee Brice's band, played on that album, and then another guy named Tim Galloway, he's a sessions player back there in Nashville. So I did go to Nashville and record, but as far as going back there to get, everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna get signed." I'm like, I don't even sign. I just want to play, play, play.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I go, I'll play anywhere in the country. Probably the two places you won't see me play are probably going to be Nashville and Austin, because they're oversaturated with music, and that's where everybody goes to. And so I am in California, that's true, but because of what I do, I'm not really stuck here. When I first started going out on the road, my wife's like, "Don't be gone for more than 2 weeks at a time." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And then there was that one time I was gone 5 weeks, and she got used to it. And because of what I do, being in California doesn't matter. And my situation is
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit different because my house is paid off. So I have a house that's paid off. I've got a house in Oklahoma that it's like almost dead set in the middle of the country. So it makes it easy to travel around. And that's the
Right.
whole thing we're going to be doing if this coronavirus thing ever lets up and we can get back out on the road.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you were gonna you get out to North Carolina. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that, because that's one thing with me starting to do this, and the more artists that I talk to, I feel like I build a little bit of a personal connection with them, and that draws me in even more and makes me want to see you live, more so than I did before. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll have to stay up to date on your schedule whenever all this gets over with, so I can find out when you're going to be close to me, and I'm definitely going to check out a live show.
Yeah, because all I'm doing now is just cancel, cancel, cancel right now. Everybody's they're canceling way out. I'm like, it might be over by then. You guys hold off on that. But everybody's canceling. Nobody wants to book right now. And
Yeah.
I spent half my time booking, and I haven't been doing any because everybody's like, well, we'll wait and see. I'm like, all right. And our last gig was on March 13th of this year, and after that gig, I had 33 gigs on the books, and I was backfilling in on it. So my goal was to do 150 gigs this year, and I don't think I'm going to make that now.
I don't think any of the artists are. And
No.
that's so sad. I just, I thank God that, your house is paid for and you don't have to worry about that aspect of it. But still, that's an income that you count on, I'm sure, and the guys in your band do. So is there anything that you guys are doing for yourselves individually or to help out? I know a lot of the artists are doing something to help out, like the artists that are out of work that rely on gigs for their income. Is there something that, the audience needs to know that they can help you and your guys out, or just donate to any of the artist causes that are out there?
Yeah, I help everybody else out. I'm okay. My wife works and she makes more than enough to cover the bills. So um, my drummer, he took a job for this year. We decided he was going to work 1 year before we hit the road again. And my bass player, he's got a part-time job he works. So everybody's good here. Nobody's suffering. It's just driving me crazy having to stay in the house. Because really, we're a live band. To me, the audience is half of the show.
Right.
Our show is very much dependent on how much the audience is into it. It's always been that way for me. And so without having people right in front of me playing, it's really hard for me to just 100% get into it.
Right. I completely understand that. That makes sense. And the audience is your fuel to, I don't know really how to say it, but I get what you're saying. They're your fuel to make your show more electric, so to speak.
Yeah, my feet move a little more when they're into it.
Yeah. You can't help but have that happen, I think.
Yeah.
So, okay, off the music topic a little bit, just, on personal sides of things. If you could have dinner with anybody in the world, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I never really thought of that, but I met a guy once. He was the coolest dude. You've seen the movie Full Metal Jacket, right?
Yes.
Arlie Ermy, the sergeant in that movie, the drill sergeant. So I met Arlie Ermy once. If he was still around, I'd go have dinner with that dude because he was so much the opposite of what he was in that movie. He's such a nice dude. He'd talk, and I've heard him in interviews. He's got tons of stories, and I don't know, that guy. When I saw him, he just seemed so genuine. I don't like phony people, and so I think I'd go with Arlie Ermy. But luckily, I got to meet him one time before he passed away. I've got an autographed picture of him and some other stuff. So at least I got that. But yeah, I kind of like Arlie Ermy. Real cool dude. Real cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that you said that you don't like fake people or people that, put on a fake persona for the audience or their fans. If you're an artist or a musician or an actress or whatever, I don't like that either. And I often find myself, watching people on TV or listening to artists, or like while I've been interviewing you guys and I've watched a show of yours, are you the same here as you were in this show? Because I'm like you, I don't like people that have to pretend to be something else. I like the genuine person. Be yourself all the time. Because why be anything different?
It's too much work to me. Wears me out.
Exactly.
Trying to put on a front.
Yeah. You can't remember what you said to who or what or
if
when.
you tell the truth all the time, you don't have to remember.
Exactly. Very good point. That makes
very easy.
So much easier.
It does.
Exactly. So while we've all been locked up in our houses, I know it's gotten to some worse than others, whatever, but even not during quarantine, we all have bad days sometimes. And so do you have like a quote or something that a music lyric or something that you refer to that kind of gets you out of that slump, something that, picks you back up and gets you in a good mood, gets you through the bad day?
I'll be honest with you, I don't really get down in slumps. I've got this super positive but realistic attitude, but I do have some sayings I really like. I just came across one late last year. I know it's probably been around forever, and I think it's attributed to Nelson Mandela. And he says, I never lose. I either win or I learn. And that's kind of the way I've always went through life like that. Either I'm going to get it done or I'm going to learn from the loss. And then I got one I use sometimes, and because people will tell you can't do that. And I go, well, why can't you do that? And they'll say, because that's not how it's done. And I think to myself, well, everything that's done a certain way wasn't done that way before until somebody did it that way. So I always tell people, I say, just because things are done the way they are done doesn't mean they can't be done a different way. So you don't have to go with conventional wisdom all the time. And I'm kind of always on that. Got a little bit of that rebel attitude. I kind of fight against the establishment view of things, especially in the music industry, because I've seen it happen before with different genres where it's been, this is working. Well, let's just keep giving more of that. And people get onto it. It happened in the late 80s with hair metal. Everybody started to sound the same. And then these guys came along called Nirvana and a few other bands. The sound wasn't as clean, but people were like, what is this? This is different. Mm-hmm. And so I don't normally go with conventional wisdom. So that's another reason you're not going to see me in Nashville. I don't think that's the place you need to be. To me, the place to be is in front of the people. But yeah, the Nelson Mandela one where I never lose, I either win or I learn. That's probably my go-to right now.
Yeah, I just had to write that down. You're going to see me use that one.
It's a good one. It makes sense. Yeah. That's the way I've always lived.
I like that. I really do like that. And if you've looked at my Instagram page, you see that blue line that goes down. I love quotes. So that's one I'm going to use. I love that. That's a great one.
Wish I had come up with it.
Yeah, really. All the great stuff we wish we came up with.
Well, a smart guy came up with it, so I don't feel bad.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure. Besides your Southern rock, country rock that you play, are there other genres of music that you like?
Yeah, my number one band is AC/DC.
Ah, yes.
Back in Black and anything with Bon Scott. That's me.
Oh, they are amazing. Did you ever get to see them in concert?
I did not.
I did. Oh my gosh. They're amazing. And just as they are as great in concert as you would imagine. They're amazing.
They've been at it a long time, but I've been listening to them forever. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, before I got into music, I was like 12 years old and I was in my aunt's car listening to the radio. So I remember exactly how it was. I was at a softball game. My uncle was coaching. I was in the car listening to the radio and I was just flipping around the channels. I didn't really have music that I listened to yet. Listen to whatever my parents did. Back then it's Kenny Rogers, Dolly, all the country stuff, but some rock stuff too. And I was flipping around and I come across this song and the guitar grabbed me. I'm 12. Like, oh, I like that. And then another song comes on and I didn't know who it was, but I remember the two songs. It was one by Ted Nugent and one by AC/DC. That's what got me. That's what got me hooked on it at 12. I went and found that radio station, and that's what I started listening to. So I've always been a hard rock guy, but when I started writing songs, that's when I realized my stuff's a little more country, direct to the point, not quite so cryptic, and the riffs are a little bit more Southern rockish. And but yeah, I'm a rock guy. We do a crazy version of AC/DC's Have a Drink on Me. So we go, whiskey, gin, and brandy, with a glass I'm pretty handy. And we play it, the guitars the exact same way. And it's just a good drinking song for people. That's my style.
I'm going to have to look that up. I love that. Oh, gosh. Okay, so I mentioned Leonard Skinner earlier. Are you a Leonard Skinner fan?
I am. Matter of fact, favorite song is Curtis Lowe, by the way. That's my top. Not a lot of people know that. It's a popular song, but it's not Give Me Three Steps. And I do an acoustic version of Freebird with no solo at the end too. You can find that out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened just there. Well, I'm a Simple Man. That's my favorite one by them, but I don't think there's a song they have out that I don't love. So, I mean, I just love it. That's my style too. I think it's the generation we probably grew up in.
Probably, yeah.
That were like that. Because, like you say, growing up, I had to listen to whatever my parents were listening to. And my mom, it was beach music and oldies. And my dad was bluegrass and country. So, of course, me and my sister, we were like, we hate that. We hate that. So we're going down the middle. And we were the AC/DC and Led
Mm-hmm.
Zeppelin, Scorpions, Judas Priest, that kind of stuff. And so it wasn't until I was older that I got an appreciation for what mom liked and what dad liked. And so now I like all of it. So I
Yeah,
think,
I listen to stuff. If it hits me, it hits me. I
yeah,
don't pick any one thing. Matter of fact, there might be a band I only like one song from them, but if it's a great song, I'll listen. But
yeah.
yeah, that's how I came up. We came up playing rock, but ended up probably spent most of my time before I went solo playing in classic rock bands.
Okay.
That
What
was our thing. That's where I learned my chops.
is that how you got started? Is when you heard that guitar on the radio? Is that what I know
Well, that
that
got me
get
listening to that music.
uh-huh.
What got me started was and I think it's the case with a lot of young guitar players, which I don't consider myself a guitar player. I'm a singer who plays guitar,
Right.
but I think what gets most guys into guitars is girls. That's what I think it is, and that's what it was. I like, you see the rock stars and the girls and I want to be that because that looks like fun to me.
Yeah.
And so at 14, that looked like fun, and I got a acoustic guitar for Christmas when I was 14, and that's what I wanted, and started playing it. And I wasn't very good at it back then, but I told people I had a guitar, so that's good enough.
Now, did you learn all on your own or did you ever take lessons?
I did. What happened was I got that when I was 14, and I learned a few songs, but I really wasn't that good at it. But I had a friend of mine I'd known since I was 7. Him and his brother had a band, and they needed a bass player. So I borrowed a bass from the band at school. I used to play French horn and trumpet too. And so I borrowed a bass from the school, and I went and I played with those guys for years and years playing bass, and then kind of moved into playing guitar and singing because we never could find a good singer. And I was, I used to sing Led Zeppelin and whatever. I could sing just like them. I've changed my style, but it's easier on the voice now. But
Yeah.
um, moved into that. But yeah, I started out playing bass actually in a band when I was 16.
Oh, okay.
That was my first gig, and the guitar player, I played with him for singing and playing guitar probably for 15 years from that time on.
Oh,
And so
wow.
he's gone solo now doing the blues thing, and I went my way and done this thing, and that's really how I got started. But the whole genesis of it was, I think girls like guys who play guitars. I'm going to jump in on that.
And add singing to it too, then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got it going on there with that one. Exactly. So you said you played the trumpet and the French horn in school. So do you
hmm
play, and then the guitar, of course. Do you play any other instruments?
I could play some basic beats on the drums if I need to show somebody something, but I'm no drummer. Same thing, kind of let the bass go, but I could play bass if I needed to. Any guitar player can play bass. I can't play as good as a bass player, but we can play bass. But really, it's just the last probably 8-10 years I've gotten better at the guitar just because I've had to. A lot of times I was playing solo, so I didn't have anybody to fall back on, and it forced me to learn to play guitar just to record stuff for
Yeah.
demos. And so I pretty much just stick to guitar nowadays.
Do you prefer acoustic or electric?
I prefer electric. I
That's
got
the
a
right
nice
for you.
I got a nice Telecaster. I play it really clean. But surprisingly, we when we were playing, we thought we were going to go into that total full band thing, and we ended up playing a lot of acoustic gigs. My bass player's got an acoustic bass he brings. My drummer's got the box he sits on that he plays, and it ended up being about half our gigs was doing that. And hopefully, I've got a gig at 8 Air Saloon in Dallas in June, on June 11th, I believe. I'm hoping all this is over because I'm heading back to Nashville for a few days for some non-music related stuff. I've got a lot of friends in Nashville, but I probably got more friends in the outdoor industry than I do in the music industry back there.
And what's the outdoor industry?
Oh, guns, backpacks, bows, that kind of hunting, fishing. I did a TV show on the Pursuit Channel called Living Free Outdoors. I hosted it for a season just to see if I liked it. I didn't care for it, but
Oh,
I'm
cool.
thinking about rebooting it once we get out on the road. we're going to call it Californic on the Loose. And it's not going to just be hunting. It's going to be kind of road stuff. So once we get going, I'm going to start doing some more online stuff. I prefer that. I didn't like so much having to, there was a format you had to stick to. It was too constrained for a rebel like me.
Yeah. With the TV production.
Yeah, it was 21 and a half minutes, nothing. There were certain parameters, and I was like, this is nice and everything, but I think I'll just go back to doing music.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you do your own videos, there's no time limit on what you do when you pop stuff on the internet. You can do 5 minutes, you can do 20 minutes, whatever you want.
Exactly. And that's what I love about this. I say, there's an hour time slot, but if somebody don't feel like going that long, fine. If you want to turn it into 2 hours, hey, I don't care. That's exactly. Yeah. Love that we have that freedom to do.
Yeah, there's no hard breaks here.
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome that you're that we should be brother and sister. Yeah. I'm telling you, that sounds so much like me and my husband. It's not even funny.
And speaking of the coronavirus, of course, I go shopping about once a month. And sometimes I'll go 5-6 weeks without shopping. And I went to Costco yesterday around here, and I saw a line, and I just couldn't stand in line for that. I couldn't bring myself to stand in line like I was in a third world country, right? And so, but I got 2 freezers, and I got quite a bit of venison in both of them, so we should be all right.
Oh my gosh! Did you post? You had the chili post.
Yes, I did.
That's right.
That's me, my chili recipe.
Did you post something about a venison recipe on something?
Yeah, it was a chili recipe on Instagram and Facebook.
That's the chili. Was there something else?
I don't think so. I have other recipes.
Try that chili.
I made stew, but it's just a standard stew. You just replace the beef, so there's nothing to say there. But yeah, I eat a lot of venison. Okay. Eat a lot more now.
Do you typically say venison, or do you just say deer meat?
Venison, deer meat, whatever. It's all interchangeable.
I usually just say deer meat. I feel like venison is the fancy version of that.
It could be, but if you know me, I'm making it unfancy. I'm so unfancy. I'm unsophisticated.
It's so funny when my husband cooks any kind of deer meat here. And we love the tenderloin, and he'll just cut it up fine and fry it. He's got some sort of marinade that he puts in it, and he fries it. And when all the kids were at home, we're down to just our youngest son now. But when they were all home, as soon as he took it out of the frying pan, it was gone. So he's like, forget trying to fix a meal. It's not making it, 2 inches further than that frying pan once you get it out of there. So yeah, we love it. They're all my guys are, except our youngest son, they're all hunters and fishers. I love fishing and hunting, but I hadn't ever killed one yet. So
I didn't grow up hunting. I'm out here in California. There are people who hunt out here. It's not that many, but what happened was I went to buy. California passed a rule that if you wanted to buy a handgun, you had to take a handgun safety course or a hunter safety course. And this is years ago. And me and my buddy were like, well, let's just take the hunter safety course. And they accidentally turned me into a hunter because I got out there with a rifle and I saw a deer run away, and the adrenaline pumped up, and I was like, I'm hooked, and this is it. So, but I usually go back to Oklahoma to get most of them. I've got property back there to hunt on, and this year was really good. I was able to, normally sometimes it takes a while, but I was able to, was kind of on a time crunch. I had to get back to California for it was a charity gig the radio station was putting on. We were playing and got lucky, and in 2 days I got my 2 tags filled and came home, and I still had deer from the one I got out the other day said 2017. So I was like, okay, well, let's get that out first. But yeah. I process all my own. I don't take it to the butcher. So
yeah, my husband does too.
I have secrets how to keep it fresh.
Yeah,
I'll share them one day.
I was going to say, my husband might want to talk to you on that one then, but or it just doesn't stay in the freezer long enough to worry about that.
Well, I got 4 one year, and I didn't. Well. I was gone so much. We're eating more venison now than ever because I'm home and I can take it out because I don't like I said, I don't process it right away. I wrap it up in big quarters and then I pull it out. That way it doesn't get freezer burn. That's one of my tricks. And so I got 4 one year with a bow, and so we're still kind of, those are still, I think I got the last of it was yesterday. I got it out. So then we'll be going to 2018. And I got a couple from 19. So, but it never goes bad. I keep it the way I put it away. But yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah, I do too. I could replace regular meat with deer meat for anything, as long as it. And so many people are like, oh, but it tastes so wild. It tastes gamey. No, not if you fix it right.
They didn't trim it right. They didn't trim off the silver and white off of it. If you have just red meat with that's just the way it is. That other stuff that's where a lot of people don't mind that taste. If you grew up on it, it doesn't matter. But I know how to make it palatable for people who don't eat wild game. That's how you get them.
Oh, well,
I always tell people chili's the gateway venison. That's how you get them.
You need to come in. I'm telling my husband, I texted him, I was like, you need to come watch this interview. You're going to love this guy. So I just made him come sit in here and watch.
There he is.
Hey. We're talking about meat and hunting here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're talking about deer meat and hunting. So this right up Paul's out. This is Paul. Paul, this is Michael.
Oh, how you doing, man?
We're doing a different kind of interview here. We're doing our kind of interview.
Yeah, we've got into survival mode here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
We're talking deer meat and how to fix it and how to eat it right. And I was just telling him that a lot of people say they don't like deer meat because, ooh, it tastes gamey, it's gross. But he says he has a special way to fix it, but he's not going to share it on air. It's a secret. It's a Michael Walker secret here. But
I'll share it, but just some other time.
We tricked my mother one time. Actually, Paul did. It was hilarious. We had some stew meat, and we were just fixing, regular like stew beef and rice. And so we had her thinking it was just regular stew beef and rice, because she swears she will never eat deer meat. I'm not going to eat Bambi. That's so mean. I can't see how you do that, that kind of thing. And Paul fixed this stew beef. It was fantastic. My mom ate 2 full plates of it. And when she got done, she was like, Paul, this is the best stew beef ever. And when she got done, he was like, really, Lynn? You liked that? And she was like, oh, yeah. And he's like, that was deer meat. And then she was like, I can't believe you did that to me.
One of my secrets is I live with a pressure cooker. That electric pressure cooker is the best thing ever. Everybody calls them Instant Pots because they say pressure cooker. It scares them. They think it's going to blow up. But
yep.
I cook it. I'm using one's probably going off right now with some chicken in it. I set the timer, and so that's what we're having for dinner. But yeah, I eat venison any chance I get. I had one tenderloin 2 days ago. I've got the other one sitting in there. I'm gonna maybe cook it up tomorrow. My wife likes to have scrambled eggs and venison for breakfast sometimes. Yes.
Well, if you didn't live like 3,000 miles away, we'd be over for breakfast.
I got a hind quarter and a front quarter sitting in there aging right now. See, I age mine after I freeze them right away and age them in the refrigerator as I pull them out of the freezer. It works. That way I don't have to hassle with it all at one time.
That is cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Welcome to Venison Talk.
What he does with his. So, I mean, when he kills them, he skins them. He does everything himself too. So I'm not even sure what all he does. That's his.
I only took my first deer in to have somebody else do it. After that, I was on it. To me, it's still part of the hunt when I'm doing that.
It definitely is.
To me, yes.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think you've ever took one to have it done, have you? Yeah.
I don't even know where you take one.
Yeah. And you take it to Mace. And he's taught our boys the same thing. So they do the same way. They do their own. So yeah, it's Yeah, we got talking about hunting, fishing. He used to have a hunting and fishing show, an outdoor show, and he's going to get back into the outdoor stuff, but online. So, yeah.
And gold mining too was on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
Couple of summers I made my money gold mining. Just anything but go to a real job.
I like that.
Even if it's harder work, I don't care. Anything but a real job.
Now, your place in Oklahoma, do y'all have wild boar there? Do you hunt that as well?
Okay, so there's a couple of properties there that people have. They've started to get in there where I hunt. No, they don't have any yet.
Okay. Is that something you ever have hunted?
No, I've been invited to go to Texas. My friend of mine, he shot a few around here, and I like them. These ones were eating oranges. They weren't eating scrub. They were in the orange orchard, so they tasted really good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess they'd want rid of them then. You don't want them.
Yeah, they were on a deprivation permit. It wasn't it was actually, because they were tearing things up, but we ate them anyway.
Well, and that seems to be the case when they let these hunts go. That's what's happening. They're on some farmer's land tearing up something. They're vicious. Yeah, he's been wanting to go on one of those hunts, so that's what prompted that question to you. It's kind of an interesting thing. But we could sit here and talk about hunting and fishing and out stuff all day long. So we'll do that on our own time. We'll move along here.
Yeah, we'll get to catfish later.
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot of my questions we've already talked about, in just the interview. So I love how this has gone. But if you could do anything differently right now, as far as your career is gone, is there anything different that you would do, a different path you would take, or?
It's one thing different I would do when I went solo. I concentrated more on working on the songs and stuff. I probably would have, maybe a couple of years sooner than I did, I probably would have went out and started doing more solo gigs and getting the songs out there and building up the following. And so I'm where I could have been if I'd have worked on that. That's the only thing I would change. Everything was going really well until we stopped playing here the last couple of weeks. Everything was on track. I had plans, but you know how those go sometimes.
Oh, yeah. The best laid plans always get screwed up by something, it seems like. But this is going to end, and it's going to pick back up. If you already made that following, they're waiting for you to come back out there, and they're going to pick right back up with you because everybody's tired of being stuck in-house anyway. So when this thing lifts and they can actually get out and do things, they're going to just come right back to you. And I'm looking to you coming to the East Coast. So.
Oh, we'll get there. I've got invites to go to South Carolina, and of course, one of my friends lives out there, and he goes, we're not that far from Nashville. Next time you're out, I'm like, oh yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we're only 6 hours from Nashville, so.
But yeah, I've got a crazy database built up, and every time I run across a place, it doesn't matter what state it's in, I go into my database and I add it for future reference. So I do a lot of behind the scenes work that people don't realize. If I'm playing 3 hours, I probably spent 10 hours booking that gig.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to book gigs.
Yeah. Well, there is a place in Hickory. It's small. It's not like a huge venue at all. It's actually a barbecue restaurant. But they have an area where they have set up for artists to come in, and they can accommodate a solo or a full band. Not any elaborate setup or anything like that, but I've had a couple artists ask me, is there a place near you to play at? Well, obviously, I'm like an hour from Charlotte, hour and a half from Asheville. So there are bigger venues close, within an hour or so near me. But if I want like really, really near me, it's Hickory. And so I thought about getting in touch with this venue and seeing, telling them what I'm doing and saying, hey, can I give them your name, or y'all, do y'all want to up your bookings having artists come in? Because usually they just have like special events. But I thought about contacting them and seeing about that. So if that pans out, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll put it on there. I'll talk to them. I'll book stuff. I like to book stuff. I'm very good. Even if I had a booking agent, I'd probably stay in charge of more of the logistics, like the itinerary, because I know how to book really well as far as travel plans. I keep a Google Calendar I live and die by it as far as booking gigs. But we're gonna hit all the states. My drummer's actually from upstate New York, so he's got places they want us to come back there, and it's just probably next summer we're really gonna hit it hard.
Yeah.
This summer we're gonna stick around local, and then the following summer we're gonna put out some more music. Hopefully, I was planning on putting some out. We were gonna record next month, but this month. I don't think that's gonna happen. Kind of stuck.
Yep. I hate that, because I look forward to your new music coming out, and I hope all this doesn't mess up your touring schedule too bad, that you can still just jump back on that and get it going. So hopefully it won't. Maybe this thing will be, are you seeing things die down in California? Are y'all like on the downhill of it, or? I
don't know. I don't even know. We could have already had it here. I don't know. Yeah. Everybody could have had it already. I don't know. They just
it's hard to go.
I can't tell.
Yeah. According to what I see that the news tells us, and you take that as you may, we haven't even peaked in North Carolina yet. So, of course, we're close to New York, or not, closer than you are. But with the whole, New York is in terrible shape. So, I don't know how much longer this is going to last, but I don't see the U.S. in general. We're not on that downhill slope yet. But we'll get there soon, I hope, so everybody can go back to normal.
I hope so. The economy ain't going to hold forever.
No, it's not. That's for sure. That's for sure. And guys like you are itching to get back out doing your gigs and stuff like that, and I don't blame you.
Yes.
It's driving a lot of people nuts. All right. So, have you ever had an embarrassing moment in life that you wish you could just crawl under the table and forget happened?
Be honest with you, not really. I guess probably because I don't take myself too seriously. Like when people take themselves too seriously, they get embarrassed over everything. I'm sure I have, but maybe I've had some that were so bad I've blocked them. I don't know, but I can't really think of any.
Can't think of anything.
I don't really get embarrassed about stuff. I don't take myself too seriously.
Yeah, and that's the important thing in life, is that live life, have fun. Don't take everything so seriously. God, most people do. And they get their feelings hurt over everything and anything. And it's just not the way to be.
Nobody's allowed to be offended at my house, so we don't use those words. I don't think I've ever been offended by anybody in my life. The only thing that offends me, people who are offended. That's the only thing that offends me. I don't get offended by anything. I can get mad. I can not like what you say, but it won't offend me.
Yeah, I like that. And if I do get mad, I don't stay mad long. Because staying mad long, it takes more energy. It takes more energy.
It wears you out. Like I said, it's just like, it's like being phony. It wears you out.
Exactly. I'd much rather be happy and real but that's us. What you see is what you get. And you can like us and take us or not. Oh well. It's kind of the way it is. Yep. That's the way it is. So to end this last question, it's my big one for everybody. What do you want people to remember you for? What do you want people to remember Michael Walker music for? And what do you want, or, personally, professionally, whatever, what do you want your legacy to be?
Thought about this one, and really, I don't care about that. That's part of my, once I'm done, music stops for me. If they want to listen to the music I've recorded, that's great. Really don't do it for the legacy. I'm almost in it for the here and now, right when I play. And so I really don't get into, I'm really not thinking about anything like that anymore than I'm thinking about going to Nashville or something like that. I just want to get out there and play. And I really never thought about figure I'm just a small guy. I'll get out there and play till I disappear, and that'll be it. I'll be done. Never thought about it.
You're such a humble guy. You are.
Well, you know what? I've worked for a living.
Yeah.
I used to be an industrial maintenance mechanic. You got something broke, I can fix it right here and now. And I can fix it for you right, which will take longer, or I can fix it for you right now. But I'll get it going. I'm very mechanical. I'm very into numbers. That's why I look at this Corona thing. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a realist. But yeah, I don't. I'm not looking at being any kind of superstar. I hear my friends go, "Oh yeah, you get signed." I go, "Sign? Nobody's going to sign me. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to get in people's faces and play until they take notice, and then they come see me." I'm not in it for any kind of executives or anything. It's just I like to go right to the people, and so when I'm done, it's like I'll just be a blip on the screen of time. That'll be it.
I love your attitude about things. You're a different kind of guy, but you are definitely humble. Just you're real, and you can tell that you're real, and you're just down to earth, and I really like that.
I'm a simple guy. I kind of take the same attitude with life I take with deer hunting. All right, my guys are all about, "Oh, did you see the rack on that?" I'm like, "That's very nice, but I don't even care one bit about that. Just put something out there. I want to put it in the freezer, and I want to get on to the next thing. That's what I want to do. I'm not into that kind of stuff. Not into flashy cars, big houses. As a matter of fact, I had a house that's twice as big as the one I have now. That's one reason I was able to pay this one off, is I sold my other house and moved into this one. And I tell people all the time, I would never, ever in my life, I don't care how rich I was, I would never have a house over 1,200 square feet again in my life. It's too much to take care of, and you got to be home. And I guess if you're super rich, other people do that for you, but I don't plan on being that rich.
I don't see that happening for me either, unless
I get a lot of that attitude from my dad. He's a real simple guy. He's happy just being. His favorite thing to do is go fishing. And he likes to eat deer meat. He doesn't care about hunting. But he's real simple. Happiest dude you'll ever know. He is the most positive, happy guy. And he's got enough money to get him by, he says, and he just likes to go fishing. And it's kind of same thing with me. I'm not really into flashy stuff. I'll take the bottom basement bin stuff and I'll make it work.
Yeah. I like that. And I mean, that's happiness is what it's about.
So my legacy is not going to be in music. My legacy is really going to be the people I leave behind. That's going to be really just like everybody else in this world. I wasn't really thinking about a musical legacy. It would be the stuff that rubs off on the people you raise. And no, that's going to be the real legacy right there.
Yeah. Well, and that's what matters in the end. The music is great. The music is just the musical career and success in your musical career. That's just icing on the cake to everything else.
Yeah. And one of the reasons I do it, I figure I can sing. If I don't sing, it's kind of like slapping God in the face and saying, "Hey, you gave me this and I'm not going to use it." So that's why I quit my job a few years back just to do this full time. And my favorite thing to do is sing. I play guitar because I have to. But singing's what I like to do. And once I'm done singing, I'm done singing. I'll be like a blip in history.
Nah. I think you're making a bigger impact than you realize.
Yeah, we'll see. I just want to get up to that. I want to get up to that Blackberry Smoke level. They're my guys right now. They're my number one.
Yeah, I've seen you refer to them several times. So yeah.
They just I've never seen them live in person. I want to. But they're just, to me, they're probably one of the best live bands, right? Pure bands. They're not hired guns. They're actually a band of friends that came together. And so as far as a band goes, they're something right now. A lot of people still don't know who they are, but I'd like to be at their level. I'm sure they want to be at a different level. I just want to get, we call it that mid-level touring band where you make a little money and you do some bigger shows, but I'm not looking at playing arenas and stuff like that. I don't care about stuff like that.
Yeah. I heard you, I've not heard of them. So I'm actually going to have to look them up. I just, on your page, I reference to them on a couple of different occasions. So, yeah, I'll have to look them up and check them out.
They got a lot of good songs, but if you grew up in a small town, you got to listen to One Horse Town. That is a great song.
One Horse Town?
Yeah, we do a cover of that, and it always goes over big, even though people haven't heard of it before.
Blackberry Smoke?
Blackberry Smoke, One Horse Town.
Okay.
And if you get a chance, watch their live video from, they might have been in North Carolina when they recorded it.
Oh, all right. I'll have to check that out.
It's on YouTube for free.
Okay, yeah.
That's what got me hooked on them. I listened to their stuff on the streaming, and then I was like, yeah, they're all right. But then I went and saw their live video, and I was like, oh, these guys are good. And that's what got me.
Yeah, you can. And I'm glad you said that, because you can listen to someone's recording and their professional recording, and it's going to sound great. But what's the telltale is to listen to a live performance.
Right.
Because when you don't have any auto tune going on or any, additional help.
Yes.
That's the telltale, is that a real artist, can they really sing? What have they got? And that's what I listened to from you, was one of your shows. And I was like, this dude sounds as good live as, on my Spotify. So
thank you.
Yeah. That's when you know it's the real deal right there.
And we go out and play, and we play as a 3-piece right now. I'm going to add a guitar player. See, I want to go out like the old school rock band, 2 guitars with a singer and drummer, bass, 4 guys in the band. And right now we go out and play. We don't even do solos. It's just straight up in your face. We're kind of like I tell people we're kind of like the Nirvana of country right now. It's just, we're not worried about the appearance. It's just, let's go out, and I always say, let's go strap it on and kick him in the teeth. Let's go. That's my attitude to go play. I don't care about all the lights and all that stuff. Let's just go put it on.
Yeah. And I like that too. I mean, I can appreciate a good show.
Mm-hmm.
A good show. I can appreciate that as much as the next person. But I would rather just have that stripped down version. Just, you and your guys and your instruments, and you're playing, and whatever comes out of that comes out of that. I like that the best.
That's our thing right there.
Yeah.
We're pretty stripped down.
And I think that's one thing I liked about AC/DC when I saw them in concert. Like, the only huge prop, of course they had all the lights, because they're in a big stadium, or Coliseum. So of course they had to have the lights and that kind of thing, but it wasn't any light show or anything like that. But the only kind of prop that they had was their huge, humongous bell that Angus came down on. And of course at the beginning of them playing Hell's Bells. So this huge bell comes down from the ceiling, and Angus is on it, and then he, comes off of it. And then the bell goes back up after the song is over. And, other than that, it's just the guys singing and playing. And, of course, Angus jumping around like a little crackhead. But, I say that in the best way. It was great because he's a performer. But it was just a great concert, not a show.
One of the greatest rock bands in history. AC/DC, and most of their songs are 3 chords.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing.
Oh, you can pick Angus out from, as soon as it comes on, that's AC/DC. It's yes. That song. It's the music. You can hear it. And you're like, oh yeah, that's them. And because it was funny, my son said one time, he's like, their music all sounds the same. And I'm like, kind of, but you can tell it apart. I know one song from the other within just a few seconds into it.
Name that tune.
Yeah, even though it's the same chords, as you say, and I'm not a musical, I don't know how to play, so I might say this completely wrong. Even though it's the same chords, as you said, there's still something different about it. I guess it's the arrangement or something.
Yeah, they use a different progression, and then, of course, the melody and the singing's different, and the story.
Yeah.
But,
so
I use most of the same chords myself.
Yeah, because even if they didn't put the words to it and I was just listening to the music, I could still tell you which song it is. So, but it's AC/DC within just a couple of seconds, and I love that. I think Leonard Skinner is the same way. And there's there's a few out there that are that same way, and I don't know. I like it when I can pick out an artist within just a couple of seconds. Yeah, it's kind of that name that tune thing, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, Michael, I have loved doing this interview with you. It has been completely different, and I love that. It has been fun for sure. And I'd love to have you back on in like 6 months or so. Let's do this.
See how things are going.
Yeah, see where you're at, see if you're back out on the road and how touring's going and that kind of thing, or if you're recording, just check in with you and see what's happening.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome.
I appreciate you having me.
I have enjoyed having you so much. It has been wonderful, and maybe the next time we do it, if you're up for it, we'll do a live, and that way your fans can join in and, ask questions or anything like that, but we'll talk about that. But for this interview, we'll say goodbye. And I enjoyed it so much. I appreciate everything. And y'all stay safe.
Thank you so much. Yes,
y'all
ma'am.
stay safe, stay in, and hopefully this is going to be over with soon and you can get back out to doing your thing.
Yeah, I hope so. So yeah, you do the same. Stay safe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
All right. Thanks, Michael. You have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.